live.
Perfect time, Spartan.
Oh, yeah, always. We are live now. Episode 38, the Michigan Bros Grow Show. Skilbo, take it off.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Bro Show Live, episode number 38. I'm Skilbo1 as always, and the panel is here and chat is assembled. Let's get this thing started.
What's up, guys? Skilbo there, Sequence, the panel, like he said. Thank you guys for being in the chat. Thank you guys for being here. We're obviously shadow banned on this shit, so appreciate you. And middle finger to YouTube. Let's go around the horn. We'll have a show. Unfortunately, again, as I search the internet for cannabis-related news, everything is involving COVID, so we're going to try to not do that. We're going to try to do a show of something else. So feel free to bring up some stuff in the chat. We'll answer questions. Try to keep you distracted from the bullshit that is the entire news.
We've had enough of that shit in a bowl full, man.
Yeah, exactly. Eagle, please introduce yourself and where people can find you. Eagle, please unmute yourself.
You would really think I'm getting a little bit more used to this shit. I'm Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube. Super glad to be here with you guys today, and hope you guys have had great weeks. Looking forward to talking with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, man. And we're learning in public, like they say on the DGC show. I saw Spartan's shirt. Shout out to those guys. It's a work in progress. We're all stoners behind cameras still, sometimes it's got to show.
Spartan had to do that scene change.
Yeah, we had a question in chat. It says, is Spartan a clone? And I was laughing because he's on all the shows.
Get a costume
I thought he was
change,
about to start stripping, man. I was expecting, the tips to start flying on Super Chat.
Fans only, baby.
That's why I stopped, man.
To give my attention for a second. I was like, oh, look. Spartan stripping.
That was the hook. You didn't want to quite show the nipple tonight, but that's what the fans only.
If you look over my shoulder, you see that bright light. That's my flower room, so it's hot as fuck. So I had to take.
Yeah, it's starting to get warmer. A little bit warmer in my rooms too.
But I'm Abolish Farms. You can find me all over the place every Saturday night on the Frugal Force right here on this channel.
And you can catch me on Instagram at Miss Cantaloupe, or you can follow our whole garden at the Abolish Farms page.
Thank you for joining us, guys. You're blinking in and out like you are in space. You got some sort of magic going on over there. Red, welcome to the show, man. It's good to see you again. Where can everyone find you?
Good to see you. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, chat. Cheers, panel. You guys can find me on Instagram mainly at Red Setter Farm, right here on the Bro Show. And actually, it was awesome. I had a great interview with Eagle, I think, last week on Eagle's show. And you can also catch me on the Frugal Force. Cheers, everybody. Rock and roll. Glad the sun is out, too.
Hell yeah. And Spartan Grown, welcome, dude. Coming in hot off the Cheap Home Grow Show.
Yeah, super hot. That's why I start getting undressed, man. But I want to shout out THC Diet, which is a fucking awesome name in chat. He says we need an intro song so they can smoke on the way in. Well, come on, we need some help, guys. Who's the musicians? You guys got to get up.
Yeah,
I got a fucking kazoo, man. I can get down on.
The thing about music is we have to have the rights to the music, or YouTube will pull it down and all kinds of stuff like that. So
that's why I was calling out to the Growskis. We need these musicians to hook us up.
Yeah,
exactly, Growskis. You get the music, I'll make the flash happen. It'll be instant. I just need the music.
You hear that, Liquid Thickness? Holler at us. Don't forget about us.
Yep, watch the music. I took my first strike yesterday. Well, actually, they didn't give me a strike. They just banned me in other countries. Not here, but overseas, I guess. They took it down at 12:15 as soon as it aired.
So, we know what that's like. Don't worry. I think every creator's ran into that stuff, though. You got to be really careful what content you put out, and that's why. It's because they will strike your stuff, and if you get 3 strikes, they'll take your account down.
But yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Spartan Grown or on multiple podcasts on YouTube. So you can find me here at the Michigan Bros Grow Show. You can find me at Cheap Home Grow Channel, the Growing with My Fellow Growers. You can find me on Eagles broadcast later tonight. What time is that? 11:30 tonight, or are we going to go right after the show? How are you going to do it? 11:30?
11:30. Give you a chance to get a drink and get regrouped.
After 4 hours of live streaming, I'm sure he needs a fucking few minutes to powder his nose.
Hey, you can also see Spartan on the GML show sometimes.
And
Shout out to
GML
those guys.
show Fridays. Yep. So I think I covered them all.
I haven't caught a lot of GML show, but there's only so many hours in the day for all these shows. I have seen his show before.
Yeah, I
It's
used to
very
watch them from it might have been from the very beginning. I might have missed a few episodes, but I've watched him for a long time. I really like.
About 3 years now.
Yeah, and what's cool was he's kind of like almost the commercial aspect. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, a
so,
whole different angle.
yeah, so it kind of got me. You don't see a lot of that. You don't see a lot of that on YouTube. So I really like his show.
I remember turning it on for the first time and the camera view being like the back of his head. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I had to stay and watch for a little bit.
Yeah, that intro that he used to use in the old days was when he used to throw the pots, and it looked like, like the force was throwing them out. Look at Abolished over there nodding. He remembers. Abolished, I just got to say, every time you hit that fucking shit and it makes you blink out, it reminds me of the old-ass Flintstones with Gazoo. Do you remember when Fred and Barney would be like, Gazoo?
Yeah.
And he would fucking, boop, pop in and shit, talk shit
Like
to
they're
him,
in
and
the
then whoop,
Jetsons,
pop
man.
back
They're
out.
just blinking.
That's got to be some good ass shit over there, man.
Fucking time traveling over there.
Time travel.
Yeah, I really liked back in the day when GML had like his garden, basically going through his garden the whole show. That was awesome while the panel talked. That was cool.
Yeah, he's gonna do that again. He's just waiting for this build out. He's building out and he's got all the permits and everything. But he said he's got an office built into the LP or whatever they're called up there, so that just to create content. He said that. So he's gonna be dumping a lot of content once all that gets up and going. I can't wait.
And please bring back the old intro. That was your best intro, GML. That was cool.
Holy shit, Sequence.
And
What the fuck you got on that butter knife up there, babe?
And the outro was cool.
We're going to do a dab, Skilbo. Get with it. Get with it,
Those
player.
lungs aren't going to
Definitely not
follow
a
you. I'm
little
just going to
dab,
cheer you
that's
on,
for
all
sure.
right?
Put him in a coffin, Skilbo.
Nice size dab there.
But he find me a lily.
What are we going to chat about, guys? We had some stuff that we talked about in the pre-show a little bit. Dankman Dan says Dabtastic. Alaskan Dabber says GML is a grow god. I want to shout out a couple of the chatters, especially Dankman. Thank you, Dankman, for being a patron. I was looking at the patrons earlier today. We have 5 of you guys now. So shout out to you guys. Thank you very much for supporting the show. Skilbo's showing off fine cannabis.
GG4, my friends. GG4.
GG4, the cut you got from Spartan.
Yes, sir, indeed. It's one of my favorites in my garden. Thank you again, brother.
Yeah, I always gotta give a shout out to where you got that from.
Shout out for that Citro glue. Shout out to my dude Sequence for that fire ass Citro glue number 6 that everybody, especially Tara
Shout out
and
to
Dan,
me,
know
for
and
me.
love. That's it. Hooray for me, bitches.
Hooray for me, for me.
Yeah, shout out to your Big Detroit Energy too. I took a little.
Got
bit
that
of
in flower
from-
right now, bro.
Do you guys still
That was the
have
plant
about-
that I keep forgetting. Every time I talk about my flower room, I forget a plant. It's BDE.
Here's Sequence's crescendo.
that
I was
big
hoping to get
E?
his pineapple terps out of it the few times I smoked with him, but I ended up getting frosting like vanilla type thing. It's more cookies than anything.
Yeah, it's got mandarin cookies in it, so it should have some cookies terps that'll come out occasionally. I bet you cured it better than me.
This is the last of the headlights for now.
Fucking killing these people across jars. Dude, that's looking really good.
What
with
legal
flower right now,
cannabis
that
is,
headlights.
guys.
Yeah, man.
Michigan proud right here.
It definitely makes this fucking quarantine shit way more passable when you have a bunch of fucking edibles and flour and concentrates and all other kind of goodies to get through your day.
Guess if we're all
Yeah,
showing
yeah.
our foxtails off. This one kind of looks like it's giving you the finger, but I'm definitely not. giving
Yeah, I
you the
kind of like
finger.
that one. That's
Look
the
at
don't
that
tread on
sucker.
me, bud, right there, bro.
Yeah, it looks old school, doesn't it? That's some DJ Shorts F13. Very, very much growing on the sativa side, and it's.
I love the foxtail buds. It's just kind of a bitch to trim.
A natural foxtail. What's awesome is that this is pretty much how it came off the plant. Just like no sugar leaf, no leaves at all. It was just flowers, which is pretty
was just
incredible.
gonna say that when I get foxtails like that, I usually don't get a lot of trim, so I'm happy. I'm like, that's fine. Build more bud. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and it's really dense. Like for something that's just a foxtail, like that bud probably weighs 2 grams or something. Like it's crazy. It's amazing. It's pretty cool stuff. I mean, it's not like the most potent, but damn, it's a good head high. It's a good clear high. It's great daytime smoke. You know, I'm not smoking that much lately because just anxiety reasons. And man, I'll tell you what, like just taking a couple hits off of it, it's almost like I took a tolerance break. So it's kind of nice.
Smoking a little bit of Pine Valleys over here, and some insane. Got that.
Yeah, definitely. That's check that out, guys. You know what that is? That is your Great Lakes grow off.
Oh, is this the?
I pulled this off. Yeah, sorry. This was the plant that we're growing right now. I pulled this up because we were talking about the foxtail buds and the leaf structure. And we were talking about how this might be a pain to trim because of all the leaves on it. But look how frosty they are. This is
That
what
looks
we're growing for the
fantastic.
grow off. So
Oh, that looks like an easy trim. I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah, it doesn't look horrible. This first picture looks worse than the second one for sure. I'm really excited about it though. I'm excited about the terps. I'm excited about that frost. Hell yeah,
What did they say? It was didn't they say it was strawberry they're getting out of some of them? And they have a short pheno and a tall pheno.
Good looking stuff. Thank you to everyone in the
That's
grow
excellent
off
looking.
joining us and growing that stuff. And not knowing what you were gonna get before you got it. That's what we have to look forward to now.
You know, they put a lot of pictures up this week of all the different things that they've got going on, and I've really liked it. There is like a uniformity that I'm seeing in some of the leaf structure on these, so that's kind of cool that, you know, it's not all over the place, and, you know, we get to see whose grow techniques will bring out the best in that.
And then shout out to anybody growing snow cane because 2020 got a hold of everybody that did the contest, and they're looking for good photos of that. They want to throw them in their catalog. So if you guys have good photos of snow cane, just maybe put them up and tag 2020 or drop it in their DM or something, or send them an email. You might be featured in their
That'd be cool as shit, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully they take my picture. I actually have a pretty good picture of that one.
I thought you just wanted a picture of you in the catalog with it, just like your face smiling in a
Not-
square.
Not my picture, no. I'm behind the camera.
Take that picture and DM it to it. There's a good possibility they'll use it. Sounds like they're needing pictures. So
Oh, they've liked it. You know I got Carlos in my DMs. You know.
Such a good dude, man. I miss him. I haven't seen him since we did that.
Another
Eagle,
good
those things
looking
look
bud,
like
Eagle.
golden nuggets.
I know. What is that? That's the Pine Valley?
Acapulco gold or something.
His camera resolution is just bad enough that you can't really get a good idea, and it messes.
He looks
with
like
the
he's looking through a
structure.
portal right now, like he's on a boat or
Yeah.
something.
Well, it changes them into like nuggets instead of
Oh,
being
that
able to
looks
see
awesome.
the.
That's that was insane in the membrane. This here is Pine Valley.
Look at that little Christmas tree.
I love the size of all of them.
now, Eagle,
Yeah,
with
these
It's all
were
dried in the My Herbs Now dryer.
yeah, these were dried into my herbs now. These were actually, you know, nicer sized buds that were chopped down. I was showing Skillbo that the other night, and when we talked, that I just like to break them down. I've got some Pine Valley buds hanging on a stick over there that were actually about that big. It was a nice yielder. I wasn't. I actually thought it was a beard on fire sitting back there in the corner, and I pulled it out and I started working her over, and I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't look right, and it doesn't smell right. And I'm like, started chopping it, and it had that like piney kind of a fuel smell to it. I'm like, oh man, this isn't beard on fire. So I pulled that tag out and spun it around. It's a Pine Valley 3. I was like, hell yeah, I didn't even see this one coming. Chopped her down, threw her in the dryer, and I was hoping for like a gassy fuel like I was smelling when I was chopping it up. But what I got was what he had described it, when he passed me the beans, which was like a maple syrup, earthy, like sweet, taste to it. And if you smoke too much of it, man, that shit will really, really put you out. So if you're looking for something kind of
That's the best of both worlds, man.
It's pretty good. I'm really enjoying it. And this is the first one out of 5. So I'm looking to see what kind of a swing it's got to it.
I wanted to shout out real quick in chat. I don't know how to say the name. Srel, Srel, how? I don't know. I'm butchering. I'm sorry, bro. But he says, shout out to Miss C for sharing some info on cannabis and antidepressants. Thank you. I think that was a late sesh. So shout out to
Yes,
Miss
it
C.
was. That was last Monday's show that she came on and dropped a little bit of her personal story, and we had some good laughs. And you get to watch Abolished be the cabin boy, you know, and sit in the back chair. And there he is.
Well, that
Look,
is
he came
good, you
back.
know. I don't think Miss C gets enough credit for what she does for like
She's doing all the heavy
us.
lifting, bro. She's doing all the trimming, all the growing.
Yeah. Well, and then when we
Got to
meet up,
babysit
she's doing
Abolished.
all the camera work
Exactly.
and recording shit and like
I
being
was about
mom
to
to us. And
say,
All the
I was about to
medicated.
say, I was behind the camera mostly. I'm trying to let him do some more recording and stuff because I am doing a lot of the work. Because, you know, basically I'm apprenticing. So the best way to learn is to just get in there and actually do it yourself. So that's what we do.
Do you have
Although
the white
Oh, yeah.
the other
bandana?
day I did have to have some help because we were filling some new pots and we were using some old ones and using the dirt again and like lifting them and getting it into the other ones, like my back. And I said to him, I couldn't do bigger pots than that, like my physical strength.
that's something that maybe we should talk about is that Michigan is a medical state, not to get too far off topic, but medical caregivers are the growers in most places, you know. Somebody that's got back problems or knee problems or whatever. There's YouTubers that are blind growers, I think. All sorts of different disabilities that can limit how you grow and why you grow, or why you might choose a scrognet or why you might not choose a scrognet. It might be dependent on exactly that, your physical fitness and all that.
That's a discussion we actually had driving around the other day to go get some groceries. Is like if you were disabled or you just weren't that strong, like maybe our style of growing wouldn't be that good. But then I explained to her that, yeah, in the beginning, if you could hire some help to come in there and help you set up, and then you were just say doing water only and doing some simple top dressing, that might be really, really friendly to somebody that can't do a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I was just complaining of like my own back hurting and things like that. And I'm young and I'm like, I can't imagine someone who is, you know, and having a harder time growing our way. Like it is, you know, we don't do work every day, which is nice. But when we do work, it's hours and it's really physical. And
Well, it's not just the weight. It's when you try to transplant things. Like that's kind of why I've always been big on the whole easy swap pots. Is I can just unsnap the sides, and then I can just pick it straight up, transfer it into whatever I'm going to do, drop it in, and I'm good. If I've got the other kind of buckets, I've got to put my hand around the stalk. I've got to flip it over. I've got to try to wrestle it out of there a little bit, pull it out, and then drop it in. You know, and if you've grown a monster or something, if you're dealing with a plant count, you know, that could be a considerable thing for someone that's, you know, like Kate's size or something like that to try to wrestle some big beast out and up pot it. So something to think about.
I've often thought about, you know, how I would, you know, my back feels like it's going to go out on me often. Sometimes I need like a table in my bedroom or something, right? I need to to maybe move some things around because right now I'm using like buckets and stuff and I'm always bent over. And when you do a handful of plants and you're bent over like that or you're cleaning the floor, you know, sometimes you just need some better equipment to save your back a little bit of effort. You know, if I had things like, you know, mop bucket or something like that, just simple expenses, you know, that right now I'm being frugal about, you know, not purchasing a mop bucket, but I'm on my hands and knees, you know, and I know I'm blowing my back and I'm ruining my knees and shit like that just doing that. So I often think, you know, when it's too bad, what should I do? And I'm thinking, you know, maybe beds, growing beds, things that so I don't have to constantly transplant, so I can reuse my soil, so I'm not always lifting bags and things like that. I often
But
think about, you
yeah,
know, if I was in a different position.
and then to extrapolate that, you know, if you think about the easier you make things to do, the more likely you are to do them. So like the harder your grow room is to operate, the more likely you are to skip steps and then shortchange stuff and get worse quality. So that's another way you want to look at things.
Going back to the other pot style is the ones that Eagle uses as well, is another one where you don't have to physically manipulate the plant. You can just unscrew the side of it and then unwind it around.
Wanted to point out another thing because she asked, like, how did you do this stuff, move stuff around when you're doing it by yourself? And it's, you got to pace yourself. Like, don't go in there and go all out and think you got to build it in one day. Like, go in there, do a little bit of the room, like fill your hydrogen, sit down, roll one, go in there, do a couple pots, come back out, sit down, roll one. And you'll save yourself a lot of pain. You know, I've learned that. Just chill out when you're doing a build. I know you're excited.
Yeah, the only one that has to treat it like a job is Spartan. So, you know, take it easy.
Still love it.
I like it because I'm old,
Yeah,
and Abolish just rang the bell for me on that. Is like, just, you know, do one thing, take a break, go burn one, go do a little scroll on the phone, man, come back through. You don't get burned out. And it also keeps you from making mistakes, because while you're rolling up and smoking, you're thinking about, what's my next move? What's my next step? What am I going to do? You're thinking all
And see,
through
that's
shit.
like so against, like, I don't know. I'm like, let's just get it done. Like, let's just get it all done, and then we'll smoke and hang out and be like done for the day. So I just wanted to get in there and go, go, go. But like, I was getting tired out. I was like, and he was like, let's just take a break. Just take a break.
Now, what Skilbo said right there, like when you're taking that break right there, I don't know how many times I've thought about something that I need to do before I do the next step.
The key is to not get too high and then not do the next step.
Yeah.
Hey, let's not get carried away here. What the fuck are we doing all this work for if we're not going to get too high? What's up, Kate?
It happens though, man. You'll just sit down and do a dab, and then you need to take a nap, and then, you know, your lights shut off, and then you
That's
can't
how
do
I
it
get.
until tomorrow.
I've had mystery strains that way, because I was trying to, you know, smoke and get shit done, and I forgot to label my little fucking clones, and I didn't know what it was until the very fucking last few weeks of flower, and like, oh, it's a grapefruit diesel. Okay.
I have a really good clone, Skilbo, that is either BDE, Citroglue, or Crescendo. I'll be able to tell you
winner. Yeah.
when I flower it, but I don't know yet.
Putting off watering can be the worst. Like, yeah, your plants can recover if they, you know, droop a little bit, but if you do it to like your mom's or something and you're like ready to take clones, you're like, shit, now I got to wait another couple weeks for my mom to come back, just in case I just stress the shit out of her.
Yep. Stress is the key.
But I'm on the same attitude as Mrs. Cantaloupe there. If I have like a big project, I would consider like transplanting or flip into flower, something like that. I want to do it all at once, get it all done in one day, and just be done with it. I don't want to drag that out to 2, 3, 4 days if I don't have to. You know, I might have to do an RSO cap afterwards to recover, but if I can get it all done in one go, I find like I set up an assembly line, you know what I mean, and just knock it all out, and that's kind of how I like to get things done.
And then, you know, just to close off on this would be that the mind is willing, but the back is broken. The back is weak. I don't know, man. You know, you just youth.
That's probably my weakest part. My back is hurting me, but
no. And that's where you can, if you're doing a lot of things and you don't have anything fancy, flip a 5-gallon bucket over and sit your ass down on it while you're trying to do transplants and sit instead of squatting down. Or if you're one of those people that wants to kneel, get some of those knee pads that you get for, you know, laying the hardwood flooring. Do little stupid things. Get the roller cart that you can get for like a mechanic's stool. You know, work with yourself on this.
I was just talking to Shredder about like the knee pads in chat for a second. Like, I have a bunch of like carpenter's knee pads. I hate wearing them. They always pinch the back of my legs or whatever. But I had some in my cart. You know, they're just like a little flat piece of foam. Or if you just have some insulation,
get the kneeling
foam or
boards.
something.
You know,
that's what I'm talking about. You can get like a 3-pack on Amazon for maybe not anymore, but for like $10, you can get like a 3-pack. You can get them for like $2 a piece or some dollar stores carry them. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And there's tons of stoner innovation throughout the industry to make your life easier. You just have to like think about it and do a little research, like the easy swap pots for easy transplanting. And then like, what was it? Bad Bunny linked as a product in the Frugal Force the other day. There was a biodegradable pot. So you just plopped it in there and then it broke down in there. So I thought that'd be really cool to save people on their back and whatnot.
I want to shout out to Uncle Reefer. I was actually trying to type in a response, but it's easier just to talk. But he said that, you know, you should get, you know, tables or something so that you're at a level where you're not bending over as much. Well, yeah, but I'm in a situation where I'm in a basement and I can't lose headspace. But yeah, I'd have to move up to the garage. So that's another whole other project. It's something I've been considering. The older I get, it's like, I know forever I'm not going to be able to go up and down those stairs forever. And it's something that's going to have to be done eventually. But I haven't tackled that project yet because I don't want to sacrifice my garage and not have a place to park my car, but I don't know. It might happen eventually.
I guess this is my tip for this, and that's I put everything on rollers. Everything's on rollers for multiple reasons. I've got my water bucket here. This is 20 gallons at a time. It rolls around. All my plants, casters. You the big girls, casters.
When you
this-
say casters, are you using the ones for like the really expensive ones that go under the trash cans for like $35, or you got
No,
cheap
these are plant caddies. They vary from like at Walmart. They vary from like $3.50 for like a 16 for like a 10-inch pot. They're like $7. You can build them yourself for a little bit cheaper, but saves your back, tons. You can move them easily, mop under it. For another reason I do this is like during the winter months, when it gets colder, these are on a concrete floor. This
Yep.
caster provides an air space right there, so this pot's not sitting on that cold concrete floor, getting the root ball cold and slowing things down. Not only that, this pot, if something does spill under this, if I'm a little messy or whatever, and can't clean it and don't see it, there's an air space right there where, it's where it can dry. It's not sitting there, in between two surfaces, fermenting, going bad, stinking, molding, it will dry. But usually I don't leave anything laying, nothing sits there long enough. Another benefit is I can spin them, I can reach back, spin, when I'm working with it, I don't have to get in there. I can just spin the plant, pick leaves off, do what I got to do.
That's the key, is when you talk about that Mr. Tight, quarter turn a day, how easy is that to do when you have a plant on casters versus having to reach over top of other plants and then, grab onto the top of the pot like a fucking steering wheel and give it a quarter turn,
Soaking wet 10-gallon pot with a big plant in it, it's a backbreaker. If you want to be moving them around for cleaning purposes or any purposes, you got to get in that tent to change the light bulb or whatever you got to do, man. That's some backbreakers if you have to pick them up. If you can roll them around a little bit, sure does make things easier.
Yeah, all mine SIP containers were all in casters, so I had that same. That's nice to have. But somebody in chat, Shredder 0911, he said his basement floor isn't level, so the rollers would need brakes or plants will run away. Well,
chalk block.
Here's a real cheap solution right here.
Chalk block, yep.
All these casters come with brakes.
You have brakes on the casters, or I like using shims because I have cheap plastic.
Shims are super cheap.
Yeah, these are super, and these are the premium shims because they're made out of plastic. They're not the little
bougie shims.
Those are good for the environment.
Yeah, I can reuse them over and over and over again, and they're not
Oh,
wood, so you're not worried about fungus and everything else getting in there.
There's one thing to add to this, and I know it's a common sense thing for a lot of people, but somebody's not thinking about it out there. If you do plan on DIYing these and you're buying casters, make sure you look at the casters and make sure that they actually have a 360-degree spin on them and that they're not forward, backward lock kinds, because that's going to really piss you the fuck off if you buy the wrong kind.
Yeah,
Good
since
point.
we're on, that is a really good point. You want to be able to turn them around and not just go up and down.
Why do I feel like
Forward
you've
and
done that,
backwards.
Skilbo?
No, man.
I do feel like he's done it before too.
No. You know what it
those are
is,
for, like,
is
the
I've grabbed the
front of the
wrong
cart.
ones and not fucking bought them. I'm like, oh, you stupid fuck. You're grabbing the wrong shit, bro. And they're expensive. Like if you go to Tractor Supply and you're like, well, I'm just going to go buy 40 fucking casters. No, the fuck you won't go buy 40 fucking casters unless you got a lot of money with you.
Those in particular casters right there are like $1.25, if that at Harbor
Oh,
Freight.
shit. That's a money shot then, the Harbor Freight. Kate,
Yeah,
I know
Harbor
you
Freight
said
has a
Harbor Freight,
selection
didn't you?
of them.
Oh, that was Tara that said it in the chat. Sorry, I'm trying to think
I
of
was
who's
gonna
doing
say-
what. I'm looking at like this, that, and the other.
I wanted to shout Tara out real quick. She said that she made hers out of wood. That's a good temporary solution, but I wouldn't use that as a permanent solution because that stuff's going to mold. Wood will mold. Wood, it harbors can harbor pests, and wood's not a good idea in the grow room, as you see wood exposed in my grow room. But it's not a good idea anyway.
At least paint it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Kills is a
paint it.
good option if you need to paint it because it's like a water suit. It's like a bathroom paint. It's a good one. They might even have an outdoor, which would be even better. Depending on the VOC, it might off gas. But since we're on like the
What
top
is
of the
VOC?
aesthetics,
I'm
man,
not
I don't know
smart.
what the acronym is.
Volatile organic.
Gotta use the smart shit. You gotta have the
compounds,
acronym.
Yeah.
Spartan knows it too.
It's volatile
Yeah.
organic
Or
compounds.
compounds.
Thank you,
I'm
Spartan.
too high, man. I
Eagle
haven't
knew it
smoked
too.
weed in like 3 weeks, and I'm over here chiefing on this F13. I'm ripped.
Dude, we got to do a late sesh after this. You better pace your motherfucking
I'm surprised
self.
I'm gonna be able to say the word aesthetic. So aesthetically, since we're on that kind of like topic, flood tables would be great for me because I wouldn't be vacuuming up, every single plant's runoff out of a little saucer. At least I could pool it all into like a 5-gallon bucket, or even send it off into the main drain with a pump or something. That'd be ideal. You're talking about time saving. You're talking about labor saving, back saving.
Then you gain consistency when you add automation.
The reason I don't use
too.
the reason I don't use casters, and it's kind of like the flood table, is if you buy the PVC plastic tables, like the ones that you see for like $12 all the time, they're just shitty plastic ones. I use those to jack my plants up so that when they're in veg, I don't have to squat all the way down on the ground. So I keep them on like the second shelf. That gives me a spot underneath where I can keep my tools and anything that I need that I'm going to have for my plants underneath there, neatly organized and shit. And the plants are up higher. So, I mean, if you have the ceiling space to do it and you're, at that stage, because I use like a varied veg where like it starts off at a really tall table and then it moves down to a shorter table and then it gets to the point where they just sit, jacked up off the floor a little bit. So, but going back to the eagle thing, I love that you mentioned about the airflow underneath.
Man,
And the saucers sitting on the ground is like just a great place for pests to go, get those things up, and all you're dealing with is a couple legs or a couple casters, easily mop around that.
I kind of enjoy the benefit in the base. If you're in a basement area too, on concrete, not getting that root ball cold, because you get that root ball under, 60 degrees. You get it near 60 degrees, and then you're really slowing shit down. You're really, really slowing shit down. So it helps keep it up and warm. Not soaking up or transferring that cold into your root zone. So it's a nice little tip for the winter months, or if you've got a cold basement.
And another option I got from Sub Cool, actually, shout out, Subby in the sky there. He used to go to, I think it was Tractor. Did he say?
The horse stall mats.
Yeah, but the horse stall mats. And he said you can just cover just cover your floor with that. And now your whole floor is covered, and you can just put the pots right on the ground again if you want to, or whatever.
And if you don't want to use those and you want to be dumb and you want to have like the holes in them, you can use the dish pit ones, that you see in industry where there's a bunch of holes and shit in them. Then just make sure you take them outside and power wash them a couple times a year, spray those down really, really, really well.
Clean underneath that stuff.
Yep. Don't just put it on the floor and forget about it, because, it's going to be nasty afterward.
I would think the dish pit mats would work a lot better than horse stall mats, being the horse stall mats. Like I feel like in a real humid environment, like in my room, I get condensation on my floor because outside my rooms is a lot colder than inside my rooms. It's hitting dew point around the perimeter. I would definitely have mildew and mold underneath those mats if I wasn't peeling them back.
I would expect it.
Dish pit days, baby. It's just the old days.
Yeah, I would expect it. Shout out to our viewers. We know we're shadow banned and we have 104 people watching right now. So thank you guys for
seeing
our messages and showing up. The last couple of weeks were brutal. We really appreciate it. All the support and stuff, doing the show and trying to help you guys forget about the virus stuff. Kate stopped in while we were talking about all the last stuff. So Kate, welcome to the show. I wanted to say welcome while we had a little break. I don't know if you want to do an introduction.
No.
Not really. Sorry I'm late. Dude, fucking week 3. Well, whatever, day 21 of me being in quarantine. Kicked my ass today. It was not a good day all around. But I'm excited to be here. And I ran out of cigarettes finally. So now it's quit smoking time. Which was not a great day for it to happen today, but what are you gonna do? Happy to be here.
Dankman says that I'm going to do a 1 gram dab when we get to 110 views, which I could do if Dankman brings me a 1 gram dab.
I was thinking the same thing too. I was like, well, Dan, you put that up there like that, buddy.
I'll do all the dabs. Just line them up. I've done 27 dabs in one sitting, one session.
Now, you said you did one for every year you were old. Why did you stop at 27? Why don't we have a 28, a 29, and a 30, punk?
I did stop at some point. I just stopped doing it. I did 26 and 27 both. So maybe it was just a bad experience. I don't know.
Dude, I don't know how you could remember it.
Oh, I can remember that. You just kind of get to a peak at one point, I think. Anyone that smoked a ton knows that you kind of just stop and then whatever. It was a good experience, though. You hallucinate after a while, for sure.
Dan says he's gonna bring that fucker, so you better be ready.
There you go.
Bring it, Dan.
He even said the
Bring
promise
it.
word. He said promise.
Oh, he said promise?
Yeah.
Say pinky promise, though. That's the real thing. Speaking of cigarettes and not having anything, yesterday in my fucking travels, I picked up a pack of these things called pure hemp, made from organic smokable hemp. It says 26, 0 THC, and then it says high CBD, which is weird. If they say 0% THC, why don't they give me a percentage on the CBD? But anyway, they are like a regular cigarette, but they have a really funky ass fucking like star hole here. Oh, it doesn't want to focus in. But it was like $10. Here we go. Let me hold that up again.
Sorry, I'm slow. I just did
It's okay.
dabs and
This is what it looks like. Pure hemp. I guess you could use this if you wanted to quit smoking. I don't know how much CBD is in here to know how you would know how much to use other than just, like, fuck it, let's go see. But just, it's the first time I've seen something like this in the store. So just wanted to point that out.
thank you for your Vanna White there.
Show him what he's won.
I want to shout out Medically Fit out in the chat. Just thanks, bro, for all the stuff you send me in DMs. I might not respond every time, but I get them and I watch them. So I appreciate all that information, man.
Man,
Oh,
MedFit drops the bombs all over the hangout groups and everything. He's a gem in the community.
Yeah, definitely go check out his YouTube channel. He has a ton of shit on there. Great guy. I've done a couple of shows with him in the past on Cheap Home Grow. If you want to go check those out in the vault, some good conversations. What's up, man?
And I was just going to say, and just recently, he's been fired up his channel again more. He's got more and more growing videos, a little everything. It's been nice and interesting, and they're not super long either, so you can consume them quick.
I've definitely used his videos on compost teas and things like that.
I don't know about you guys, but I've been smoking this headlights, and now I'm second guessing if I'm going to cut it from my garden because I'm fuck. It might be a lower. I don't think it even tested in the 20%. So it was like 18, 17%.
Growing like a champ though, dude. In flower, once it hit flower, man, it just fucking blew up.
Well, the thing that I'm finding is like it doesn't have a ceiling on it. I mean, I was kind of at a ceiling smoking the last 2 hours in the show before this, but then I switched to headlights and it's getting me high as fuck. I have to like pace myself.
It's that headband effect, man. It's starting to get a hold of
Headband
you.
Northern Lights. It's the old shit, man. The oldies but the goodies. They still got something for us.
Yeah, I might hold on to this one. I might hold on to it for a little while longer yet.
I can't get enough of headband and headband crosses. I want it all day long.
I got
At
you.
At least pass it along to me. I believe Skillable got my cut there at Thanksgiving, didn't he?
I got abolished is when it had an AB on that one. So he left it behind and was arguing about it like, nope, it's not mine. Nope.
I'll hook everybody up that wants it before I get rid of it, I promise.
Yeah, it grows really well though. It'll fill a scrog.
The smell.
Martin's got really good philosophies on that, right? If you give the clone to everyone, then you can get it back.
Exactly. It's like I want to get this shit out there so that
I can open new shit, right?
It makes it way easier to get rid of it. I'll tell you that because I know it's backed up.
I got a pack of seeds of it from you. So yeah, I'm really good.
I'm getting freaked out because Miss C's forehead keeps.
I know. She just had the third eye up moment there. I was like,
holy shit, she's fucking leveling up over there.
Boom, Shiva.
I wanted to say thank you real quick to JPZ Studios and the YouTube chat for donating $2 to the show. Super cool. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, shout out to them earlier. They said that they might work with us or something with some music. So
yeah,
could be a good collaboration coming up.
Hey Skilbo, before we get too far off of that those hemp sticks, the hemp smokes you got there, what do they look like inside? Do they look like sprayed ground up paper? Is it like bud materials or like leaves and?
I did not cut one open, but I will cut this open near the end, and we will see what is inside of it. Some fucking confetti.
Are you able to just roll it? I don't want you to have to like waste one. Are you able to like just roll anything out of the tip of it or anything?
I wouldn't waste it. You could throw it in a bong afterwards.
Yeah. Oh yeah, true that. I'm curious what they look like inside though.
Everything all right, Spartan?
Yeah, I almost beat down old Spartacus here, but he's a Spartan. He can take a little abuse. Be all right.
Oh, there you go. Here, I'm gonna put it on the camera here, Scobo. Looks
Okay, so it looks like weed. All right, cool.
looks leafy.
Are we gonna
Looks
act
like-
like,
looks
you
like
didn't just say
flowers.
Spartacus?
Spartacus.
I've said it before. That's not the first time.
Is that what you call them all, Spartan?
No, that's just the Spartan octopus, the Spartacus.
I like
Oh,
that guy.
okay. Spartacus 1, Spartacus 2.
Oh God, that reminds me of people that have like the personalized license plates and shit, and they'll have like their vehicles 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm not rich enough for that yet. I looked
I
into
don't live in a gated community, huh?
Spartan Groans 1 through 500 were taken. I'm 501.
No, they're expensive, man. I don't want to keep paying that, especially when I know the money's going to the state. Fuck that.
Baked in the chat. What's up, brother?
What's
Bake
up,
says
Bake?
we're at 300 fragments. We've been playing a game called Last Oasis, and I've lost my life to it for like the last 18 something hours.
Well, shout the channel out for it, man, so people can go check it out.
Yeah, Abolished has been streaming it, right? And Baked has been streaming it on Twitch as well. So Baked PWN on Twitch and Michigan Bros Grow Show. We've been playing the game. It's pretty fun, but now we're doing bong rips. So let's get back to that.
Yeah, Bake, what are you doing watching the show? Get back to watching the base.
Get to work.
No rest for the wicked.
He's got a shift and he's on duty.
Guys taking shifts like night watchman on this shit or something?
No, but you need to, really. It's Abolished's job to maintain it 24 hours a day.
Everybody in chat's loving the background that Abolished and Miss Steve got going on today.
Yeah, they're just flashing in and out.
I officially named that the Great Space Coaster background.
Disappearing over and over.
I think that's so cool myself. And just want to say, boss, you got to be one aqua lung some bitch because you disappear for like a minute when you go, dude.
I'll see.
I really am, man.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys spending your smoke break with us. Maybe we'll go around and talk about our gardens a little bit. I just started flower with all my plants several days ago. I've cleaned them up now since then, but I remembered now BDE is in there. It's a favorite of most of the panel. OKC, which is orange kush cake. I have that cross right here because I keep saying it wrong. That's a wedding cake jelly bean plant crossed with triangle kush, crossed with mandarin cookies. So all three plants are orange, so it should be super good. Hopefully very orangey. Sunshine and Haze from Kyle Gardner. So that one again will be citrusy plant. And then I think that's it. Anyway, that's my flower plants. They're looking really good. They've filled up the net, so I'm letting them go skyward a little bit more. Really excited about them.
My room, I'm just cleaning out. I have a bunch that I've harvested and they're hanging now. Crescendo's in there, so that'll be interesting to see how that comes out. It was frosty as hell. It reminded me a lot of Gorilla Glue 4. It just reminded me a lot
So
of
frosty.
Yeah. And then
Abolish says his tastes like frosting, so you'll have to let us know how yours.
yeah, and he said that, but his that frosting didn't really come out to the cure. So right now mine's just like a faint I don't know, citrus maybe or like orangey kind of.
Got orange in it.
Yeah. And then so I got a bunch of stuff hanging right now. So I'm getting the room clean. And I want to ask your guys' opinion on this. I was thinking of rigging a new way of doing my trellis nets or my scrog nets, however you want to say it. And right now I have the individual nets that I put over each of my 4 planters. That's crazy the way that hat's going. But what I was thinking was instead of doing how I have them where they sit on the soil level, instead just doing a net suspended. So suspend the net, kind of like in the same fashion I saw Nutrient Shootouts got a deal like, but instead of a whole net, like what he's got.
Super easy, dude.
I was
all it
thinking
is you're
doing
just
a-
using the eye bolts and the rope ratchets is all it is.
Yeah, I was figuring just getting a
I
bunch of
like it.
eye bolts and then just putting them in the tops of my nets I have now and just taking the legs off and then just pulling them up like that. That way I could actually adjust the level of the net. Right now I'm kind of confined to how long the legs are that I built on it. But if I hung it, I could adjust the actual level of the net.
And it makes it easier to clean because it's less shit on the fucking floor that you're dicking around with.
Yeah, and I can raise it all the way up to put plants in and out. I want to play with that when I start having some time off here this week. I got to work, I think 2 or 3 days this week. But other than that, I think I'll screw around with that.
My first attempt at a homemade net was something like that, elevated from the ceiling. And the problem I ran into was if it didn't have enough weight, you'd have plants lifting it up and it wouldn't
Exactly.
be even scrog.
Yeah, you got to make sure your net's pretty heavy because it's got to hold the plant down. That's kind of the point.
Yeah, that was my thought with that too. Was make sure it was heavy enough. You could probably ballast it somehow though. Maybe
Yeah,
even fill the
I could add
PVC or
weight to
something.
it somehow. Yeah, just fill it with play sand.
Yeah, that would totally work.
The PVC itself, you could just weight the PVC, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Instead of using like the little 1/2 inch, you could go even a little bit bigger on it too. You know,
Hang garden gnomes from it.
Yeah. Spartan garden gnomes.
No, I'm gonna do Smiley. I'm gonna do like Smiley. Just hang some crystals off of it, and then it'll just supercharge my veg or my flower. That'd be sweet.
There's
Yeah,
a shop
question
downtown
that
Ipsy. You can get
because-
a giant crystal.
He's got the crystals next to all of his plants, and they're different sizes. So I'm not sure.
Well, the different size crystals, man. You got to have even crystal tech to get even growth.
There's a
Are
tuning
you
involved.
questioning is crystal tech an adaptation?
Well, he's just an amateur crystal user right now, but he'll get it eventually.
Shout out.
Maybe
to
one of them
Smiley.
wasn't charged as fully in the moonlight, or maybe one of them wasn't charged as recently.
Or maybe it was sunlight. Actually,
Cheers for Growly in the chat. We see you.
I had an ex that believed that if you like rubbed the rock the wrong way or something, it would fuck the energy up. So I didn't touch any of them.
No bad wooju.
Yeah. So shout out to her and her rocks.
But what I'm excited for is this reset, so I can hang that Raging Kush light that I won perfectly right instead of half-ass right. So I'm super stoked about that. I got everything out from underneath that area, so I've got like a week that I can screw around with that and get it all clean and get that set up exactly right. And then what I'm super excited for even more actually is to get my max into flower. I'll have 3 max going into flower.
Hell yeah.
As soon as I'm able to harvest everything that's under the quad 2, my Raging Kale's over quad 1. Quad 2 is my easy pot system, but I've still got, I'll probably harvest all but the sour melon within the next few days. The sour melon looks like it's got weeks to go. We're on day 40. What the heck? We're way past 40. We're approaching day 70 now.
Oh shit.
So I don't know how long she's gonna go, but she's almost all white hair still.
You leapt forward a month in your story.
Dude, get out your scope. She'll just keep going. It's one of those strains that just keep shooting white hairs.
For now, I'll let her go because I don't really need her. And the way that quad 1 and quad 2 synced up at the same time, I'm harvesting both. That my dry room is just so fucking packed. I've been doing staggered harvests just so that they will dry out a little bit.
Dry right, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm actually kind of fine with it for now, staying up because of that reason. And it's going to give me extra time to clean and adjust things, so whatever. But once I do harvest that sour melon, we got 3 max going in there. And then I have all kinds. I have that Abolished OG going in there. I have the other cut of Blueberry Quintessa, the number 1. And then I also have my last Snow Cane number 5 that I'm not going to continue to keep. I'm going to keep this number 6, the one that I won with. And then that number 5 one was just powerful. The flavor wasn't there, but it was just straight punch you in the face powerful. And then I have Berry Finger, which will probably be close to the last run of that one because it's one of those peppery strains, which although it's kind of rare, it's not fun for me to smoke. I'm not a fan of the flavor. And I think that's all that's in there. I don't know.
I really like those berry strains.
Yeah. And I'm just super stoked for the max, really. I've got them looking pretty good, and I know that they don't stretch much in flower, so I've let them kind of just they're not exactly level up, but I'm just letting them grow as tall as they want to get because they're not going to stretch. So everything else is going to stretch past it. So I'm putting all 3 on the same side. So hopefully they'll get light, and they're going to be next to the walls. So they'll get reflected light too. So I'm hoping for the best.
Trying to maximize your yield for sure.
Well, I also noticed that I think that they don't really like a lot of light. So that's also the reason I'm kind of sticking them off to the side to get side lighting rather than straight directly under the middle.
Nice to watch you grow them so I can get all the tips.
I've been spraying them almost every day with water, dude, just because they seem to love humidity. So that's one tip.
I've actually been spraying the clone you gave me with water. I spray all my veg plants with water all the time, like a psycho.
Is it? Does it seem to be liking it? Or how's it? How you doing?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's really good.
Slow, or are you getting a take off at all? Or
I can go get it.
Okay.
Dude, I always see great results when I just use even RO. I just use RO water, but I get great results. Like things that are like, I mean, they could lose a little perking up, and I'll spray them the next day. They'll be perked up, looking good. Yeah, maybe it's a VPD thing or something. Maybe I'm getting a little more humidity like they want.
Little microclimates in there. It's keeping that VPD for longer, maybe. Because in veg, I picture veg like I want a tropical rainforest because they just go nuts. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep. So with that extra moisture in there, it's kind of that kind of a.
I had really good luck with my veg back in the old days when I used to run it at, like, I used to call it dual 78. Be like 78% humidity and 78 fucking degrees. Man, you would grow some monsters quick, some Jurassic ass plants. You better have room to flip those, man. They'll take off.
I like that ratio, actually. I kind of keep even my flower room, I kind of keep it at that. I'm at like my air temperature is like 70. It's like 75, 70. It's close to that ratio. 75 degrees, 70% humidity all the way through flower.
This is going to sound terrible, but in my veg, I don't even look at it. I don't know what it is. I don't even know. But it's just terrible because veg, I just like, it's veg. They'll get through just about anything in veg. So it's terrible. I shouldn't do it that way, but I just really worry about it. I just try to put most of my energy into flower. If I can control flower and keep that the best, and then my veg is right next to my flower room, so they kind of share a wall anyway. So the veg seems to be, always seems to be good anyway. I'm just lucky with that. So I don't really even worry about veg so much. I mean, I want them to look nice, obviously, but I also kind of hedge my bets by growing more in veg than what I need in flower, so I can just pick the best plants. And then if they don't do well in veg, I just Spartan kick to the combo.
Yeah. This time of year, my veg looks terrible. I mean, only because of the conditions. My veg room, I'm recycling. I'm not recycling the air. It's a complete exhaust system. So I'm just basically sucking in dry air all winter long, and it's 30-40%. So even with the humidifier, the humidified air just gets sucked right out of the room anyway. So, it's terrible. I need controllers and all that, but I'm not even trying to put effort into that room, moving it.
Yeah,
there's always another project for us to do, fellas. You know what I mean? There's always 5 more things we want to do.
And a great, we say this all the time, but here's another illustration of it. Medically Fit, shout out to you again in chat. He says that, it's super dry in Colorado. I think they coined it on the VGC, the Colorado crunch. When you go to the dispensary, everything's so dry. He said 50% is all he's been able to hold out there in Colorado. See, they got a whole set of different problems, so now you're trying to add humidity to the air. You're trying to, think away like ultrasonic humidifiers and things like that to try to. The thing with humidity too, like we run into in work, is like the water that you're putting into these humidifiers, unless you're using, RO water, you got to worry about like calcium or something. I can't talk.
Articulate.
Speaking of dry, you see the droopy
falling
mat.
out of the water and getting all over your plants, all over your fans, all over everything.
So you got a little droopy Mac.
Oh yeah.
She's a green one.
Be just fine, but this is what it looks like one day past being too dry, which is hard to tell because, like Spartan said, it likes to be dry all the time. So here you go. That's how much it's grown since you gave it to me. Roots look super good.
Yeah, in that cup, I was feeding, I think, 200 milliliters of water when I fed it. It's very little bit of water and then you can. My idea was to more feedings but less in each feed. So because it was in a larger cup, I'd give it like 200 mils and it would dry out in maybe 2 days, 3 days, and I could feed it again. I hate when they go like a freaking week without being watered. I don't like that. So That's
You
kind of
water the outside, right? You're not watering the center when you're trying to get these plants to, fill out those cups.
I water the whole damn thing, man.
Yeah, with the solo cup on it.
But it's interesting because Rasta Jeff from the Grow From Your Heart podcast, he actually was opposite. He said he'd like to just hit them hard, like super water, like almost drown them, and then only water them once a week, let them get real dry, and then hit them with hard water again. So, and he was growing synthetically, so that might be a strategy for you. I don't know, but as far as what I've been doing with them so far, I like it. Their approach I just was saying, just a little bit,
Right.
just small sips,
All right.
And then, but I'm also spraying them almost every day with water. So I don't know how much water they get uptaken through the actual leaf surface and stuff. Maybe that's another. If I didn't do that, maybe they dry out even faster. Yeah, shout out Michigan Medicated. She says you can put the clear cup in a solid cup and watch the growth. And I think that's how I brought.
That's how you give them to us. Just
That's
like
how
that.
it is. Pro tips, next level stuff from Michigan Medicated and Spartan Grown.
I
Don't
think
buy
it's a great-
solo cups because solo's
Sending
the
you
most
two
polluted brand
clowns.
in the world.
To Top Gun.
There you go, Eagle.
I buy Solo, man, because it's supporting local. Dart Container Company makes Solo cups. They're just north of me in Mason, so I'm supporting some local businesses.
I think they're the most polluting company in the world, so that's why I don't buy solo cups.
Whatever, you're a synthetic grower, hater.
I'm thinking
I
about
don't buy
using
bottles.
dual the waste. I'm like, oh no, that's so much plastic cups.
Well, you just reuse.
I've used them too.
You reuse.
Yeah, actually,
reuse them
speaking
all.
of that, I have like I think old solo cups from like my first garden, probably 5 years ago, stashed somewhere. You know, I just can't throw them away. I spent all that time popping holes in them, and I'm gonna use them to start vegetables in. You know.
Yeah, you mess
I'm
up
with
all
you,
your
man. I
scissors.
got so many of them, it's ridiculous. It's like, why am I holding on?
I try to make sure that they're all the same, so I can stack them. If I get ones that won't stack with the other ones, and they outnumber the other ones, then I phase them out.
The cups that have that
When I
little
used to-
dimple on it. Where did that dimple come from? Now the bottom's a square, not a round.
It's
That's
because
Well-
humans got so weak they couldn't hold a slippery cup. We're
Yeah. I
pathetic.
used to take all my cups and put them together and get my drill out and then just drill through for all my holes simultaneously through it. All
I
at the
used to
same
be
time.
the guy that dropped my cup
Yeah,
every
absolutely.
single time there was a kegger.
So you're the reason why they have the dimple on there, Brad.
I
It's
am the
because
reason they have the dimple. I used to be known for dropping the solo cup. Wet feet all the time, stinky sandals, dude.
I can't ever seem to save them more
Red's
than,
Birkenstocks.
more than one or
Tivas,
two runs
Tivas.
because I crack them when I'm doing the transplant, trying to get the roots out or whatever, to squeeze them a little bit, and I end up cracking them. But we got to get rid of those anyways, you know. Them easy spot pot solos are the way to go, you know.
They're pretty dope.
So
Yeah, that's my plan. Use those things.
I
I
think
think
it's
use the half gallons actually. Sorry, Spartan. Go ahead.
sorry, I was just gonna question in chat. Poops420, he's asking, how does everyone cut, slit, nick, slice the bottom of their clones when taking cuts?
45
So I
degrees
cut-
and be done with it.
45, and then I kind of rub the thing a little bit, and I dip it in Clonex, and then I stick it in the thing.
Wait, back up. You rub the thing. Whoa,
I
you got-
rub the thing a little bit,
Hey.
not too much.
Just
more
enough,
than
just enough to be frustrating, right?
more than like 3 times, and you might fuck it up. And then I dip it in Clonex, and then I put Root Riot cubes in water, and then squeeze all the water out, and then do that. Then I
pH,
spray
what
it
do you
on
pH in the water at?
5.8.
5.8.
You know,
Okay.
what works pretty good is just a tack. When we did it, we just, you know, take a tack to the bottom of it, like one you put in the wall. It works real nice. Just perfect holes.
What I do is I just use water. I don't even fucking pH it, and I throw my root right cubes in there. So if I know I'm going to take 10 clones, I'll throw 10 root right cubes in maybe a quarter water that I didn't pH, and then I used to use nutrient solutions and all that kind of shit in the water, but found out from shout out to Dr. MJ Coco, who said that or he gave me evidence that the nutrition isn't needed at that point. So hell, I'm saving money, so I just use straight water. Then when I take my cut, just like a lot like what Sequence said, almost exactly, do that 45 cut, but I try to take it right underneath the node because I want that
Yes.
node there. That node is usually where the roots come out first, that you have the most success if you have a node in there. So I take it right underneath the node is where I'll take my 45. And then I like to scrape the stalks to any of the nodes above it that are going to still be within anything that's going to be in the root riot cube. I scrape it off the sides of the stems, and I'll even take like the first little tiny, like skin in the stalk is kind of what I call it. I'll just all the way around skin the stalk and stick it in that root riot cube. Well, I'm sorry, I missed a step. I put it in this same powder that I've had for probably 5 years. Let me get it here.
Eagle's giving us a little live demo.
Shooting
right?
powder. Eagle's doing one.
Shooting powder. And then I just put it in my cube and I'm done. Put it in my, I put it in a humidity dome, but I don't even keep the dome closed anymore. The little vents, I leave them open the whole time. And I do cut the leaves, but not quite as much as what Eagle is.
I think Eagle's being a little flamboyant for the camera.
Oh, I see.
No, he's shaking his head.
No, you want it to
And,
grow roots,
no,
not leaves.
Everyone does it different.
No,
Absolutely.
that's ready for the dome for me.
Yeah, it works
Or
fine.
that's ready for my easy cloner right there. By trimming these leaves right there, you've locked that in. You're trying to push this energy into making those roots. And if you want to put something in your easy cloner, maybe a little bit of root hormone and just a little bit of P phosphorus. Because
I don't
plants
trim-
in this stage don't want nitrogen. So anything but, a little bit of root growth hormone and a little bit of P, not much. And this is it. I'm for real. This is going in my cloner. I didn't over exaggerate what I just did or nothing. Instead of the 45, I try to like more of a carpenter's, like a 60-degree angle on that. So I want more of an angle on it, so I get as much, root area possible there. And by scraping that edge off too, you're promoting some roots there as well. But yeah, that's ready for the cloner for me.
I do a real similar process to Eagle there. I shave it like a 60-degree angle. I believe in the surface area. I also do right below a node, just like Spartan suggested. I also don't use any hormones. I don't use any rooting gel. I used to. I don't anymore. But I use both rock wool and I also use oxycloner. I don't use any circulating pumps or anything inside the oxycloner. I only use air stones and an air pump. So just a bucket of water with air stones and an air pump.
Just
basically
DWC
all
then, deep water culture.
DWC cloning. So from there, let's see, RO water, because I basically heard the same thing that Spartan suggested with Dr. Coco. Shout out to Cheap Home Grow Show for teaching me about that. Otherwise, I was using about tap water EC of nutrient solution. I would take my nutrient solution and dilute it down to about 150 ppms of EC, about what my tap water is, and pH is 6.2. But since there's no nutrient uptake going on, I guess tap water is okay. So, or I'm sorry, just regular RO water is okay. So that's probably going to be from here on out. Let me see here. I do that. And the other point I wanted to make was make sure that all my blades are sterile. In between every single cut, I wipe with alcohol. In between every single cut, I wipe off my blade. I just want to make sure it's all sterile, especially in between plants. If I don't do it on the same plant, I do it in between plants, and then I toss on my branches.
And why do you do that?
To prevent any type of infection, to prevent any type
Cross-contamination.
of pathogens or disease.
So these
cross-contamination.
pathogens are where the genetic drift in cannabis comes from, is from cloning and getting pathogens. So that's why you want to make sure you clean.
Draywave asked if Clonex was necessary, and the thing with rooting hormones, no, you don't. You can clone in straight water. It's just going to take a little bit longer. If you use a rooting hormone, you'll shave a couple days off, and you could also pick up consistency. And then also say something like we were just talking about virals and whatnot. If you're using aloe vera, you're dipping in that. If you're not that clean of a cloner, that should help you keep it a little sterile because it's antibacterial, antifungal.
That's what I was going to say. Basically, the way that we take clones is similar to everyone said, except for when you get to the spot where you're doing Clonex, we've been using aloe vera. And then right when I first cut them, I'm also putting them in a cup of aloe vera water.
What about salicylic acid or aspirin? Has anybody Ever heard of that one? The old days of other kinds of cloning
Yeah,
experiments?
so what that is just willow water, and you can make that by just taking, you need to find a young branch, a willow branch, and you want it to be about an inch in diameter, maybe a little bit smaller, but and you just take a section maybe like this big and just cut it in slices so you have little discs, and then you can soak those in water, and that'll be like a willow tea or whatever, and then you can use that water to help you cologne. And like you said, it's because what's in that willow that will
Salicylic, yeah.
exactly, and that's going to help. It's just it's a plant hormone, really.
You know what's kind of cool, Spartan, is like I feel like I play volleyball, like 2-man volleyball with you sometimes, is I do these little nice setup moves and I don't have to like make the spike on the other side of the point. You just make it for me. I just got to set you up for it. And love it, man.
That leftover willow juice stores for a really long time too, and it's reusable.
I didn't know that. I thought it was
Willow juice.
willow.
I have a no willow growing ordinance in my township. Can you believe that one? I can't grow willow.
Yeah, because it fucking gets into the pipes and busts everything
I
up.
know,
They're like
I
water
know
whores,
why.
man.
It's a terribly invasive plant. But I want to use it for like fencing and shit, you know.
Fencing or like whipping fencing?
Yeah, like just no, yeah. We can do some like we'll get the masks on and the white suits.
Shredder's
suits.
asking pussy willow or whipping willow? Weeping willow.
No, I think it's like the pussy
Weeping.
willow stuff. Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think the weeping willow's the bad one, is it? Because I think
No,
it's the
I think the
like
weep
the bamboo style stuff.
I think the question in chat was asking what willow were we talking about for the
Oh,
clone.
for the willow juice, that makes more sense.
And it's the weeping willow.
Weeping willow.
Red is stoned over there, folks. It's official.
Gotta
Shut
bear
up,
with me.
Brad.
Gotta bear with me.
We love you, dude.
But I wanted to shout out to you guys, your podcast. You guys just did one with the amazing Dr. Zines and Brandon Rush. Shout out to him. He says that he likes to use that product as a clone dunk, kind of like how I use the clone dunk for a lot of things, but mostly sulfur. And he said he prefers that amazing Dr. Zines Eliminator, I believe is the name of the product, because he can just throw them all in the clone dome, leave the vents closed, and just leave them that way for like a week before he even opens it up. And that amazing Dr. Zines will make sure you don't pick up any microbials, that way. And it doesn't really leave any residue on the leaves or anything behind. So that's kind of like a set it and forget it cloning solution in clone domes, it sounds like, with that product. So I'm excited.
Definitely. It's a cool product. I've used it before for a pest elimination process, spider mites, and that takes care of that problem. She talked about russets in the episode. So
Yeah,
definitely,
the russet part was
if you've ever
interesting.
heard about terrible russet mites, definitely check out that episode and the product. You can get a deal. We have a code for our show, MBGS010. If you go to their website, you'll get 10% off using our code. And then we make affiliation money, so that would be really cool.
Aspirin is made from the willow bark. I just wanted to shout that out because Purple Thumb OG pointed that out. You can use aspirin. Aspirin essentially is like
It's salicylic acid.
Right.
If you think about it like this, I kind of had like a what do you call epiphany? I had an epiphany the other day when I was thinking just about
bingo word.
Yeah, just like when a puzzle piece falls into place and everything makes sense again. I was thinking about how our medicine, it's all mostly based on sorry for that noise, but it's all based on plants. They're plant-based medicine, but how they get around, how you patent a plant, you can't really do that. So what they do is they'll take extracts basically from it, like one single compound or several compounds, put them together. So what you're getting in our modern day medicine is just like your distillates, when you think about cannabis. Why, a lot of people will tell you, so when a lot of people tell you, I smoked a distillate carton, it's like this empty high, there's something missing or whatever. Yeah, because they had to take something out so they could patent it. So, me, I'm always the big, full plant medicine guy. So really, I'm that kind of a epiphany for me has pushed me more to look into not just cannabis, but all kinds of herbal medicine, because really, why am I taking an extract when I could grow it just like I grow my cannabis and get a better effect anyway, get that whole plant medicine. So that was just something that I wanted to share.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you lose the experience of each individual plant when you get to the distillate level. It's like it doesn't matter what strain it came from, at all.
Yeah, it's kind of like the difference between Marinol, which people tend not to even like, which is the
That's the
pharmaceutical.
cancer. Yeah, that's what my mother-in-law had to take.
Yeah, so that it's just something to be said, I think, for the full plant medicine for sure. And it's fun. I've got a sort what's I don't remember the name of the company, but the Ito machine that I use to make my tincture, my RSOs and things like that. I don't have to use cannabis in those alcohol extractions. I could use all kinds of plant botanicals. I could
You can
take
take
my
peppermint
lavender.
leaves
Yeah,
or
I could take,
lavender,
yeah,
exactly.
I've got peppermint growing in my backyard. I got lavender growing in my front yard. I could take and distill that down and make my own plant oils just like that with that.
I
So
need one of those so bad, dude. I was even looking at stills and shit the other day. I was like, I want to get these plant essences. How could I do that? And you start thinking about it. You're like, well, you could do it at DIY, but that's like making a bomb in your fucking house. I don't really want to fuck with that. So I'm gonna look at these other
Rosin press,
things.
bro.
well, if you would get even if you got the smaller one, the Source Turbo, you would still process things in your own house, and it's safe, and you reclaim your alcohol. That's the
That's
big
the
thing.
key right there.
That's
Is the
where it
money
starts to,
saving.
yeah,
That's
it's
that's
expensive.
why I was looking at stills. I was trying to look at stills also for that same reason. Rather than using
Yep.
like a source, I was gonna basically modify a still to make raw oil FICO with. Like a copper still would be
So
even
weird. We
better.
haven't even talked about this, but all three of us are like looking into this weird shit. All like,
It's been like a long time goal, but me, I'm always talking about how frugal I am. I'm still double boiling my alcohol with a
Red
fan by
McDuck
the
over
window
there.
in a rice cooker.
And shout out to everybody looking into alcohol. You can order that shit online, 190 proof. You don't have to cross state lines. You can order it and it'll come right to your door.
Is it the same price? Ish.
How much was that a gallon? Was it $40 a gallon?
I haven't had to buy it in so long, man. I don't know. I buy maybe once a year, maybe less.
I'm
because you're
so
reclaiming it,
close to the border. But now I probably can't cross the border. If I go across the border, I got to quarantine on the other side for 2 weeks before I can come back.
You're gonna hit you with that
What
Lysol.
about grapeseed alcohol? You guys use that at all?
I don't know where my stuff's derived from. The stuff that I buy is it just says organic ethanol, food grade. So I'm not exactly sure where they.
You had the hookup
Yeah,
though. You had
it's-
like the back of the truck hookup.
If you have 190 proof alcohol, it shouldn't matter what it comes from. It's just basically pure alcohol.
Well, I just asked because of a lot of extractors I've talked to, that seems to be their choice. They say the grapeseed alcohol is a lot cleaner than the other ethanol type or grain-based alcohols.
That's something I got to look into altogether because I don't know anything about that. So
I think
That's what
ideally it'd be great to grow wheat or potatoes or whatever type of fruits and vegetables you want to brew down your own alcohol with. Make your own alcohol from scratch, distill it, and then run your FICO through it. Just a totally organic route. That's totally like backyard to table right there. You don't have to take any other inputs from anybody else.
But you're taking a lot of risk.
You're taking a lot of risk making it yourself. Old
I've watched the dude
moonshiners.
building them. I'm also the guy that watched the guy from, I think it's like Pakistan, that did the hash on the hubcap with like the propane tank and shit. Anybody ever seen that one where he puts all the keef in like the hubcap, sprinkles a little bit of water on it, and gets down?
That's definitely being resourceful though. I like that.
Dude, that was some OG shit. It's a cool ass video. It's on YouTube. I don't know how I found it years ago.
It used to be rough out there, you guys. Don't judge.
Wasteland.
So, Scobo, what was your question that you wanted to ask the panel today? Do you remember? I have it written down.
I do. I wanted to bring it, we always try to bring a different topic. And so who out there has ever had a plant that was growing fine and then started throwing the single bladed leaves? Anybody know what that's caused from? Or there's actually a couple causes for it, but does anybody want to talk on that?
I can talk out of my ass on it. I can just say, to me, that's a sign. It's not a bad sign. I don't want to see single bladed leaves unless I'm
Yes.
re-vegging. If I'm re-vegging, then that's fine. But So at that point, what I do is I got to baby this plant. Hopefully I'm still in veg, and I want to get it to at least I want to get it to a 5-bladed leaf at least before I throw that in flower. Let it grow out of its funk. But I have to make that decision. How long is this thing going to fucking take to grow out of its funk? Is it going to be easier to just wait till I get that first 5-bladed leaf and cut a clone off of it and then root that clone and grow it out? Or is it better to continue to grow that plant out? It's all, a call you're gonna have to make with your situation, because
I think it cost you a cycle almost, as far as like your flip. And not that it cost you a whole thing, but it definitely puts you back, because the one thing we've all learned from the very beginning is don't flower a plant that's stressed out. You're asking for problems in your grow.
Chat looks like they're on it, by the way. For all
From
the
the
various
hip, I want
reasons.
to say that area of the plant's in a very low light area, and that part of the plant is struggling, or to do its thing, and it's trying to go back into a re-veg type thing. I would just cut that out to where it gets more light. I don't think you'll see any more problems like that. It's just
Apollo 13
right
does
off
that
the
really
rip.
bad. Eagle. Apollo 13 does that really bad. If there's not enough light in the lower canopy, it'll start to flower down there, and it'll just shoot like single leaflets.
That's a really old strain, right?
Yeah.
See, that goes with my research on it. They were saying that some of the older strains, it has to do with the amount of light that the plant gets. So some of the older strains, you might need to veg them at 24 on and 0 off, and you can't play games with them, or you start, frustrating.
It's only in the lower. It's only in like the lower canopy. The plant will veg great, and it'll bush. It only grows wide. It doesn't grow tall. So that's kind of another issue, But pretty cool plant when you can dial it in. I mean, I've grown it for years. So, I mean, I can successfully grow it. It's just one of the caveats of it is lower in the canopy. It likes to just flower while it's being held in veg. I hold stuff in veg though. I hold stuff in veg for upwards of 12 weeks sometimes, depending on when I need it.
Well, that brings to the next point, which can cause is, if you're seeing single blade, is to make sure that the plant is not root bound. Could be, it's stressed out from being root bound. You might need to up pot that thing, whatever. Whatever it is, it's like Spartan said, it's not a good sign in the plant unless you're re-vegging. Now, in the pre-show, Sequence and I talked about it, and he said, what did you say Sequence causes it as well?
I said re-vegging, light leaks,
monster crops.
Monster crops. That's the same thing, basically, is a re-veg from flower to except for you did it on purpose.
Yeah, see.
So that's the big difference there. I'm cleaning the dab rig right now because me and Dankman Dan have done quite a few dabs today. He keeps calling for them. So I'm trying.
See, we don't know if he's doing his or not. We can see if you're doing yours.
He can just keep it coming.
Honor system is in effect.
The honor system dab off.
Yeah, that really one leaf thing is a weird one, because I've had it happen on multiple different. I've had it happen for different reasons. It's weird. It usually seems to have something to do with the light, either too intense lights. I've had it like my lights were way too intense, where I could just tell that. I've learned what certain light stresses look like, but as far as like the plant stacks, just weird. The buds don't stack right, kind of zigzag stacks and things like that. And I don't know, like it just seems like almost any kind of, like there's a bunch of different kinds of stresses that have caused that little one leaf weird growth. This F13 did it. That was a weird one that did it.
So I think in that way, you could probably say that it just means that the plant is stressed out.
Stressed, yes, it's a source of stress.
Yeah.
But the thing is it's not fucked. You don't need to kill it. If you have time to grow it back into health, you can do that. It's not like a lost cause. You're like, oh well, fuck it, I got to cull this now. So I just wanted to bring it up because I don't know. We have to have topics on here that we haven't covered yet. So I thought that was a good one.
Some plants do have just funky leaf sets though. Like there's like certain OGs and things that have like just the little 3 leaflets that you never really get.
I've seen those
5 leaflet on it. You only get the 3s. They almost look like little duck feet, but without the webbing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that on my OG. I noticed it in two reasons mostly. Or I guess it'd be 3. It'd be stress would be a big one. You'd see 1 or 3. A re-veg clone, definitely. Like even if you took it a week or 2 in the flower, you could see it even in a late veg. I've noticed. And I've also noticed 3 leafers when I'm, it seems like the plant's growing faster than it should be. Like it's just blowing up. I've gotten 3 leafers on my OG.
Black Cherry Soda wanted to auto flower if you wanted to fucking.
The auto flower.
It did. It did. If it got in the low light thing, that whole plant would just take right off, and you had no choice but to send it. That's the one. Anything with Black Cherry Soda's kind of got that problem.
I had
What
a
is
monster
in Black
cropped.
Cherry Soda though that makes it like that? I wonder. What is the cross?
I don't know. It's just that phenotype or the genetics.
I agree with the monster cropping messing up too, because I had a monster crop cherry pie from a clone from a friend that, through a couple rounds post, mother or something like that had been given to me, and it would still do that. Like if you didn't treat it, with the ideal conditions, it would just flower and veg. If it didn't have enough light or something,
no.
even the tops of it, this wasn't like the Apollo where it was like the bottoms, like. And the Apollo doesn't actually like flower. It just throws some weird single leaflets, throws some pistils, looks like it wants to crown. You chop off the branch and it goes like this thing would just like, it was looked like it was in week 3 of flower, and just not swelling. It was weird.
Totally know what you mean by that, man.
That's part of the reason why we had to get rid of the fire and flames, is like we could not figure out how to stop it from wanting to flower the entire time during veg. Like it would still get veg growth, but there would be hairs the entire time.
So wild. I've never seen one do it like the whole time in veg, man. It wouldn't actually flower, you're saying? It would just look like it's like pre-flowering.
Yes, just pre-flower everywhere. And you'd still get your veg growth. Weird plant.
I'd see some that where I'd get like just 2 white pistils at each node spot, like pre-flower, but I never saw much more than that in a lot of plants. But I think that's a good sign. Like a lot of people, I think, rush to flower when it comes to growing from seed. A lot of time, if you haven't seen that pre-flower and you're throwing into a flower, you're hurting yourself. I mean, the plant hasn't even got mature enough to make that change hormonally, and you're forcing it. So you're going to get a subpar result. I think I always try to wait and see that, that's a good sign to me. I want to see a couple pre-flower, what are they, stigmas? What's the real word? Everybody calls them pistils, but it's wrong. I think
you're right with stigma. Yeah.
Oh, I'm unmuted. Shit.
Stigmata, right?
Stigmata.
Take that.
Said stigmata.
I'm soliciting along, fucking getting ready to take this dad.
And I'm not necessarily hating on that trait, because that would cause that plant to sometimes finish up under even 50 days. So I did breed. That's why I bred with it. I crossed the pineapple sorbet into that. I'm hoping to get some of those fast traits out of it and maybe a little more, I guess, stabilization early on.
Let me circle the wagons and go back to what Spartan was saying about if you don't let them actually make that flip over. And what I would say is, so when do you start counting then on flower? Because it is going to go through a wonky period of maybe a week once it goes under the 12-12. So when are you starting to count, your days of flower, assuming this is something you've never fucked with before?
This is a two-way question right here. So outdoors and indoors. So I had to think about this outdoors. When do you start counting flower outdoors? And you have to go by the plant morphology, right? When you start seeing flowers, then you're in flower, I guess. But indoors, everybody goes off of when they change their lights, which is different than what you do outdoors, right? It's about a week difference in the light cycle, or the time of the plant, I would say, like you're saying. And it's interesting. I don't know how many people think of it that way, but
I kind of think of it kind of both ways, like almost similarly to outdoors. If it's like fresh from seed and I'm running it for its very first time, I definitely don't know what day I want to pull it on. Usually after like the second, so I'll do a plant morphology test where I'll watch it and I'll check it, because I don't know if it's going to go 55 days or if it's going to go 75 days. And that's almost 3 weeks of time. So the second run, I'll have a better idea. And then by like the third run, usually by then I'm just clock counting. Outdoors, definitely morphology. Every genetic begins to flower at a different time. Sometimes they begin to flower in July. Sometimes they don't begin to flower until end of August. So you can't really clock count or calendar count. And then I totally agree with Spartan with letting plant, like if you're doing an indoor scenario, let them show sex. I like to try to pull my males in veg if I can. I feel like when I've had issues with herms, in the past with regular seeds, that those plants, I think I forced them to flower too early. I was just trying to get the males out of there. And so I wanted to, 3-4 nodes. I'm able to pull a clone and throw them into flower, only growing
That's like
plants this
forced
big,
sexting, right?
Yeah, you're forced sex testing. And at that point, then you're throwing away probably a bunch of what could have been keepers because you think that they're herms. But in reality, if you would have just let them maybe veg properly, maybe you should have grow them twice. Maybe I should have grown them twice, But yeah, back to like sequence, your initial question about the morphology. I think that it's kind of different the first time you run a plant. You have no idea what day.
The beautiful part is if you're an outdoor grower in Michigan, you don't really have to worry about what day of fucking flower it is. You just have to worry about when the fuck you can get this shit down quick enough before the rains come and
Well, I
PM takes
think
over.
I know you're laughing, but that's where I was where I
Yeah.
was going. Well, I was gonna say I can answer that question really quickly for you. One, when I'm indoor, I count flower from the day I flip. And then when I'm outdoor, I don't give a fuck what day it is. I just want to know when it's harvest day. So I'm watching the flower and I'm watching the weather. And between those two things, that's when I determine when to cut the fucking thing down. It doesn't matter when.
Yeah, definitely. And then an important thing, like Red said, they go into flower at different times. So find you the plants that go into flower early in the year and maximize the chance that you can finish it before the winter comes, like Spartan's saying, because we get pretty hosed by a short season here in Michigan every year. So you got to find those, not necessarily short flowering ones, but the ones that go into flower really early.
Or they
Yeah,
can
and
just
you
be
might-
ones that you can harvest early, like what
Right.
who was it, like what we were saying earlier. Like some of them you can cut early and they're just fine. So those are good ones outside too. Sometimes.
Yeah, and you got to watch it because you might think, oh, this is like a nice long flowering sativa. I'll just get it out there really early and I'll get it in the ground in like June or like May or April, whenever, and it'll start. Don't expect it to start flowering in July, so it'll finish by October. Like it might not start flowering until September, in which case you're not going to be able to pull it in December. We're going to have a foot of snow. Well, if it's anything like this winter, who knows? Maybe it will last. But yeah, I mean, that's a good topic because it's almost that time to start getting plants. I mean, it is time to get plants ready. Seeds started and we're about to start getting them out there. But one thing, like, I definitely have to, if we're going to start talk about putting plants outside early, they will want to flower like immediate. Like if we're not at the solstice yet, which is in the middle of June 20th to 21st, whatever it is this year, if it's like anywhere like kind of before the beginning of June, if you get your plants out in the ground, they're gonna think that it's flower time and they're gonna want to flower like right when you put them out there. So if you put little starts out there, you might go through a crazy re-veg process when we hit the solstice or beyond the solstice. So prepare for that. You might want to supplement your lighting at nighttime. You can do some small techniques we can talk about in a different show or something, but there's ways to keep your plant in veg outdoors.
I have
Good
another
point.
outdoor question. Okay. So when you guys on the panel and you guys in the chat, when you guys are making a decision on what you're going to run outdoors, do you make a decision based on the environment or is it based on what you want to grow? Or does anybody know what I'm getting at here? Like, do you pick specific genetics to run it for your outdoor?
Definitely. And another thing that I wanted to bring up was that when you pick your genetics outdoor, you got to think about things that you don't ever think about inside, like pest resilience or PM to a much more of a degree. Because you can avoid all of the situations where you'll get PM indoors, but outdoors you can't. So some plants will just get it, and some plants really won't. And you'll notice over time that when you plant this plant next to that plant, and this one molded, but this one didn't, and you keep keeping the ones that didn't mold, then you have a better and better garden outdoors.
But all that being said, you can tell by plant morphology. I really think that if you're going to grow something outdoor, you should have at least grown it indoor to give you an idea what you're dealing with.
Definitely.
Give you some clues. But plant morphology, you don't want one of those plants that builds a really tall, thick bud, because the bigger your bud outdoors, the greater your chance you're going to deal with, mold issues and bud rot and things like
Your
that.
bud is a sponge, man. How much water can a sponge hold? How long is it going to take for that sponge to dry out?
Yeah, so some of the morphologies that might not be that desirable indoor or really desirable outdoor, like a smaller bud, like maybe a cookie structure where you got a bunch of these little golf balls everywhere instead of these giant, 2 liters, things like that to think about. Or bud to leaf ratio. That's a huge one. If you got a plant that's super leafy, don't grow that outside because it's just going to be super leafy times 1,000.
Outdoor plants are more plant to fucking trim, so don't take the leafy ones outside. Take those lower fucking leaf to calyx ratio plants.
Well, they always seem to get leafier outdoors.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Is like outdoors, you got way more intensity outside, and UV and everything else. So they got so much more leaf and so many more material.
Almost like they were designed to be grown out there or something.
And you get a totally different plant too, end product. I don't know how many times it's happened for me where what I grow indoor and then I grow a clone outdoor, and that outdoor and indoor, if you smoke the two side by side, you'd swear they're at least different phenos, if not different plants entirely.
Yeah, I agree.
When you super crop and you get that knuckle, that like calloused over knuckle, right where you kind of super cropped it and you broke your branch. When I first saw like just callous knuckles all over the plant outdoor without even have bending a single branch, that was just the morphology of the plant. I was like, there's something totally different going on. Obviously the sun and air quality and everything is way better outside, but I was blown away at the difference in morphology between an outdoor plant and indoor plant. The greasiness of the bud, everything,
I'm going to segue
Think
right
about
over.
it, your plants are stressed a lot more outdoors.
There was a chance with Spartan when he was talking about how they were completely different, almost as if they were different phenos. And I want to hit an abolished term and then toss it over to him, which is terroir. Do you think that might have something to do with it from the outdoor versus the indoor?
Were you asking me?
I'm asking you or abolished or anybody else. You're saying that there's a difference in it. Do you think it's because of the soil?
Yeah, and I think it's terroir, I believe, is just saying that area has different available nutrients and biolife in the soil. So if you're talking about it like that, then I 100% agree, because we can't mimic nature. We can try our best, and we do that synthetically, or we do that even organically. But if you put a plant in native soil outside, and there's just so many more small, minute minerals available to that plant that you just can't mimic throwing it in a pot indoors. I'm sorry, you just can't do it. And then all the biology on top of it. I know, we try our best with, watering in microbes and maybe doing teas, things like that, but still you cannot simulate what you got going on outside with all the action of all the micro arthropods that you're not doing indoors.
That's a big part right there.
Yeah. And there's just so many things. So I think that's why, just the diversity is king kind of a thing. If you lay out a buffet for the plant and it can pick and choose exactly what it wants whenever it wants, I think you're going to get a different and a better expression than if you reduce those choices for the plant.
You think about it outdoors, your plants get a different temperature every day. They get light from a different angle every second. They get wind from a different angle all the time. They get stress in a ton of different ways that they never experience indoors. So I would expect them to be very different.
Well,
they get the best light in the world.
Terroir is 100% environment, so you can't mock the environment outside. Indoors, your pot and your soil and your microbes are going to be complete different temperatures, which are going to set off different things in the pots. Different funguses, different organisms are going to be doing different things at different temperatures. So unless you're mocking 100% your exterior environment and pulling your microbes from outdoors, you know what I mean, to make your teas and then putting them in your soil that way, that's the only way I believe you could even come close to matching the terroir from your exterior to your
If
interior.
you had one of
Your
those,
interior, I believe, is always going to be different than your exterior. I mean, it's different environment, different inputs.
What if you get one of those sun tubes, Eagle? You get the thing on your roof and it reflects the sun down into one of your rooms.
I've thought about that, dude. I think that's such
still
a cool
different
idea.
humidity and all that bullshit. Your soil's different temperatures than ground soil,
And as that light passes through those mirrors or plastics or whatever they're passing through, you get something all the way down.
I think it's like a Mylar type tunnel, something like that.
But you still got that inverse something law where basically the further that you get away from the light, the less
inverse square.
Now maybe you might be able to match it if you were growing and that, again, not even indoors, but maybe in a hoop house or something like that, and you were actually growing in that soil, but in like an indoor, environment, like a hoop house, then you
think-
can maybe match it.
I think Dankman Dan, I am getting freaked out by, I don't know why my face is flashing on the screen, but it's weird. But Dankman Dan was saying he's going to do a hoop house with autos outside. I think that's probably one of the best
I think
strategies.
so too.
One of the best strategies right there.
My friends at New Standard Grow Under the Sun. It's all that stuff that's like passes the lab testing and everything has been grown in like climate
Raised
controlled
beds or something?
greenhouses. Yeah, climate controlled greenhouses. Yeah. I
That's
think
a
they do
good way.
supplemental, a little bit of supplemental, but yeah.
I think long term that's going to be a great way in saving the electricity cost, and a lot of businesses will have more possibilities of staying open that way. Droopy
Yeah, I'm
Mac
not
has
sure if
already
they're in the ground or not, but
already woke up. By the way, people were concerned earlier about my
Looking a lot better.
my
Oh,
plant parenting. Like I went way too.
yeah.
far.
They
She's okay, guys.
she's gonna make it.
It's going to take her a while to get the flower, but she'll get there.
Well, that's one of those strains that you aren't looking to break the bank and fucking, yield or anything else or ease of growing, but it's definitely a memorable flower. Everyone that's, had it is like, God damn, that's good as fuck. But I don't want to grow it.
Well, I just want to take pretty pictures of it mostly because I got this shiny camera and I want to take pictures of something. So now I'm waiting on the Mac.
It's
is
I
that
think
the
it's
mom
one
or
of
the
those
clone?
things.
That's the clone.
That's the clone.
Cool. It's not
I
too bad.
think that it has super tight internode spacing, so you're gonna have to clean that out probably. But the thing with that shit, what the hell was I gonna just say? What were we just talking about? Taking pictures of the Mac, and there's something I was gonna say about. Oh, you grow it like a head stash. You know what I mean?
Yes,
You're growing it just for your own. You don't care about the yield. You just want that little special diamond in your
Right.
bottom of your. And at the same time, it's like a challenge. So if you've grown for a long time, you want to like throw a monkey wrench in there and challenge yourself here and there. So it's fun to fuck around with a plant forever, but it's fun to play with for sure.
I think that's why Capulator had that original stipulation that he wanted like respected growers to give it to other respected growers, was because it was hard to grow. And they didn't want somebody that was really new to growing to get it and then just shit on it, be like, oh, this plant sucks, because they couldn't grow it, that kind of thing. So I think he kind of saved himself that way.
If you really think about that, that goes for a lot of the great plants through the years too. You know what I mean? There's some really memorable things that people used to cultivate that they don't anymore. And there must be a reason that it got dropped. And it's not just necessarily because it's low THC. Sometimes it's because they're fickle. Sometimes it's because the way they grow. Sometimes it's because they're powdery mildew bombs, or, you know what I mean? There's all these disqualifying factors for some people. But
Right.
at the same time, it doesn't mean that means that no one should grow it. It just means that it has its own unique inherent challenges to it. And I agree with Spartan that, you should get to a point where you challenge yourself as a grower rather than just becoming some cookie cutter, this is how we grow the plants. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, because genetics don't work like that. What you do with one plant isn't necessarily going to work with everything. So, executive decisions is what it always comes down to.
12-week veg time. That's just me speaking generically about one strain. Most other strains it's like 4 to 6 weeks, but it just so happens that I have one that veges like the Mac.
So Stinky Cola is asked in chat, and I want to ask you Sequence, and I'll tell you my opinion.
Sure.
It says, I don't know if you just caught it already, but he's asking, do we have Cap's cut of Mac? Which, yes, that's the one we have. And how would you describe the flavor?
I've only ever smoked it from other places. I haven't grown this cut, or this particular plant that I got just now. So I can't really comment that way. But I really like the Mac quite a bit. It's got a really unique flavor, and the buzz hit me in a way that most strains didn't. So I really liked that too. The THC content of the Mac that I got was like 19% or something. So I was surprised at how effective the buzz was for that percentage.
And I can say that I have smoked this cut, but it wasn't grown by me. So it was grown by Michigan Matt and cocoa synthetically with canna nutrients, and I love the shit. And it's like a mixed berry. I can't like put a finger and say, oh, that's a blueberry coming out, or that's a
Right.
strawberry coming out, but you can tell it's like berries and it's sweet, like a sweet berry, very pleasant smell. Like it puts a smile on my face every time I smell it. The high for me is I haven't really exclusively smoked Mac long enough to get a high. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you that. I usually just keep smoking until I get high, and sometimes it's not like I haven't had
You
enough.
gotta
Mac.
change it up.
Yeah, I haven't had enough Mac at one time to give you an honest answer as far as how the high hits me. But I've never been like really super disappointed, and I love the flavor so much that I didn't really care. So it really says a lot about it. So, but I haven't flowered it myself. So I'm really because it came from a synthetic cocoa, and I'm going to a completely different. I think that's another reason why it's took so long to veg, because it's had to learn how to eat again. And now I'm really, really like, I don't know, excited to try to play with it and figure her out to see what kind of flavors I can unlock from her, because I'm hoping
Yeah.
to change that flavor. You know what I
I
mean?
like that you guys both have
I'm
the
interested-
patience to do this though, and to actually run it for 3 cycles before you go, fuck it, I'm done with it. You
Well,
know what I mean?
we're-
Give it
we're-
time to adjust.
We can compare it. So Spartan and I like each other. We can meet up and actually try these things and be like, oh, yours is different than mine in this way. And we can
Yeah,
talk
we
about
can-
that.
Yeah, just to be able to compare notes and bounce ideas off of each other, it'll be invaluable, really, especially when you're talking about a slow vegging plant. To be able to say, hey, this is what I did in veg, and hey, this is what I did in veg. You just saved me, X amount of months of veg.
3 months of work.
Just to see how it reacted. Yeah. What's Eagle showing us?
Eagle's got some corn cobs down there. What are those things?
What do you got here, Eagle?
That's Pine Valleys. That's what these nugs looked like before I cut them down right there.
What are the terps on the Pine Valley, Eagle?
Well, when I was chopping it down, it was like a pine lemon, but fuely, like really fuely. But after it's been dried, it's got that. It does have like a lemon scent to it.
Is it like a lemon funk?
Nah, kind of lemon earthy, lightly pine. But when you smoke it, it's not like that at all. It's like a syrup, like a maple syrup almost. Let me get this fucking pour hole off my face. It's like a lemon syrup, or I'm sorry, maple syrup type flavor. And that shit's really, really sedative, man. I suggest looking that up. Ocean Grown Seeds. I believe it's out and going. He's already working on F2s. So yeah, really tasty bud. And that's only the first one out of the 5. I can't wait to see what I'm gonna pull down out of the other Pinots.
And who was the actual breeder on that? I mean, I know it's Ocean Grown, but is that GMX?
GMX.
Yeah,
Yep, GMX OG. And in fact, I know it's available at Lumberjack Seeds.
Password
Looking
for
buds.
Lumberjack is Timber. Unless they've changed it. That's like 5 years ago. I don't know. Probably still the same.
Looked like pretty good yield, maybe.
Oh, it did well. I did well. I don't want to discuss numbers, but it did well.
Yeah.
Going back to the Mac, we've gotten the Mac quite a few times throughout the last year or so, and the taste is good. I wouldn't say it's life changing, but what's really impressive about that strain is like it's got like a crystal armor to it. It's just covered in trikes, and when you drop it on the table or whatever, it thuds. Like the 8th from the dispensary was probably 3 nugs. Like it's really dense and heavy. It was super impressive on that end.
Yeah, it won't crush on your harvest yield or anything as a grower, but it's definitely a really cool strain to grow.
Always ask the grower what they want to smoke that they grow. There's things that you grow for other people, and there's things that you grow specifically and solely for yourself.
I mean, that's really good
Guys,
advice, in my opinion.
Happened to catch those Primal Punch donkey dicks under that LED. I wish we would have showed them earlier, man. Them fucking things are as big as a fucking spray can.
Now, is that the F1s or the F2s?
That's the F2s. That's the
money. I like those.
Yeah. Man, that shit's fucking super tasty. It's like a fresh Chiquita banana. Didn't I give you some of that skill ball?
Oh yeah.
That shit's super tasty, isn't it?
I keep telling people it's just like breakfast cereal bananas from back in the day, man. It's, you know, and I was smoking the F1. I found that I left that jar alone, you know, because I've gone through all the other shit, and I opened a drawer today and there was that little jar peeking at me of the Primal Punch F1. It's like, oh, hell yeah, man. So I had the F1 today, but not the F2. The 2's been gone for a while.
Shout out
Shout out to MedGrower1 for that.
I was gonna shout to chat here. Stinky Colas. He says he needs the world to try his Snuggleberry. Tastes and smells like a mixed berry pomegranate smoothie and 0% like cannabis, which is,
sounds fucking amazing.
How is that?
I don't know. I kind of like the dank, but you know that does sound really good.
No ceiling to the high, and she is a purple resin coated looker. That's for sure. Well, where's
I'm
the
down.
Snuggleberry? Let's try it out.
What is it, Red? What's the word?
When our quarantine order is over,
That's
we'll
it.
meet up
Anthocyanthins.
and 6 foot away from each other, we'll smoke down.
Drop it somewhere. We'll pick it up.
Get those Sterilite containers, and we'll just slide them across the parking lot at each other. You know what I mean?
Right.
You had me at pomegranate. I haven't had that yet in the cannabis, and I really love that flavor.
Sounds like that grape glee.
I can't believe we have less than 15 minutes left. That we've already blown through all this fucking springtime, just fucking around, man.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't realize. I just looked down too. Holy shit. I'm sitting here just reading chat.
Yeah,
Cheers, chat.
Really good. Chat's been here. Viewership has been up. Putting a post out in the YouTube, I think, helped because the notifications I don't think are working in the videos. So I made a post to hopefully have like a different notification, and I think that helped a lot. I hope.
It is. It's really been nice having so much activity in the chat, man. So really, thanks guys for hanging out with us. We appreciate it as always, man.
All of our people came back that had missed the show because they needed the notification.
Yeah, I've had to really search for it some of these times. I mean, I had to go actually to the channel.
Yeah, I think they're hiding it. Like they are hiding it. So it's not anyone's fault that the viewership is down a little bit.
Hey, before we go much further, we need to do like the MBGS fucking TV guide real quick rundown for all the listeners out there and stuff that we offer. So, you know, who wants to take that? Anybody?
Well,
I think Abolish would be the best for that, man.
Yeah.
Laid it all out.
I got us. Monday nights at 11, we got the late sesh. And then on Saturday nights at 8 p.m., we have the Frugal Force. Sunday nights at 9, we're always live here. And then also our panel has shows going on, like Eagles live every night at 11:30 on his channel. And then throughout the week, we always have goodies. But they'll always drop at 8 p.m., so just watch the notifications at 8 p.m.
We try to be
the late sesh.
We try to be consistent with our shows that we do have so that people, you know, like a store can't be closed when it's supposed to be open. We try to keep providing stuff. So if you have content providers or companies or lawyers or stuff like that, point them our direction and get them to talk to us.
Really appreciate that shout out, Abolished. We talked about your show and gave you some mad love last night on last night's episode. If you didn't check that out, you might want to at least check out the last few minutes because it got cut off. It did. It got it flagged at 15 for copyrights, but I didn't know it, and the show just went on. And then right around the hour, almost 2 hour mark, I was fucking rocking out some suicidal tendencies, and you can actually hear it go, and they just fucking yanked the plug on me. And but they posted it, so I'm happy they at least posted. I could have went back live, but I said fuck it. At that point, me and the guest had already had a chance to say our say, and I was like going into overtime. So I just took the grace that YouTube posted it and didn't just kill the whole thing for me and left last night at all. So do check me out tonight. I do appreciate that shout out, though, Polish. I mean, sincerely.
That was with Lim, wasn't it, last night?
What's that?
That was with Lim Max.
Yeah,
that's my homie. Shout out to him.
Dude, everybody's been on there, man.
Hey, Eagle, your show's getting a lot of traction pretty quick. Good luck, man. You're doing really well.
Red and I and Eagle have talked about doing a crossover episode where we would love to do like a live stream with him on our show. And the joke we've had running between the three of us is that I bet you that if you just sync up the two different things, you won't be able to tell the difference in like whose show is what. So how does everybody out there in chat feel about doing a late sesh as a live stream? Because there are a lot of people that still are up burning. It might not be the same people, but you know what I mean? I don't know. How's people feel about that?
I think that Skilbo,
the idea.
Eagle, and Red, you guys are our best late sesh style cannabis smoking ramblers. So I think
Dude,
that
we're
that's
the
a
third
great
shift,
idea.
man. The third shift, the night shift.
I'll
the
stay
late
up for
Oh,
that
sesh.
man.
third shift. I
Eagles
still get up at the crack of
Eagle's
dawn
up for
and
3
outside.
hours talking and smoking, and it's like, holy crap! And you gotta watch it.
I actually topped like the 4.5 mark the other fucking night, just babbling.
I was just gonna say, what about
Jack.
the 4-hour episode? I mean, I was a little scared when I was looking back at some of the episodes. I'm like, shit, I gotta do 2 hours, gotta do another
No.
2 hours, and then I gotta come and do 4. Damn.
No, because
no,
he splits
no,
it
no,
up.
no.
He splits it up.
I was gonna
You
say
come
we
in
were.
and stay. I'm sorry, guys. You come stay as long as you want, but you get to lay back and loosen the tie a little bit after all this and talk some shit. So
It is really
be.
fun.
It won't be as banter back and forth. It'll be fun. Don't you worry. We'll have a good time.
Yeah, the casual shit talking is kind of nice.
I'm curious how many people you guys will have that fall asleep while they're watching. You know.
You know what?
Might
It's
be the
funny
first
because
one, man.
it's what happens is they come in waves, and then they, like Jill comes through, Tara comes through, the same. You know what I mean? And then they just start to fade off, right, Eagle?
And
Not
then
because
there's
the
like
show's
a,
boring,
but there's
but
like a
because
late.
it's late.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh no, there's some fucking diehards that have, CJ, Apple. He'll go from start to finish. Green Thumb, Purple Thumb.
We got
will
love for
hang
people across
out.
the pond, man.
There's
We got the
fucking
UK
a ton
people.
of them, man, that hang out. Yeah, UK fucking hangs out.
It's funny, Eagle, because I was just sitting, I was
I'm-
like watching a movie or something the other night, right? And I was just kind of just staying involved in chat, and I was gonna like re-listen to the show at a different time when I was working, and kind of get the best of both worlds out of it. And so
Baby, come back. It's turned
there
into
was
a late
like
session.
there was this one section like towards the very end, dude, and like 8 more people showed up, and like chat blew up all of a sudden at like 4 a.m. I was like, holy shit, man! Here comes the late shift right here. It was pretty cool.
I think it's
yeah, we
cool because
definitely
you catch.
do.
Well, I think it's cool because you catch different time zones. Like Jack's in there, well, he's in Cali, so he's behind us in time. So it's cool that you can kind of cater to an audience that most of us really don't reach at, they're at a time that they can watch it.
Holy shit, Looney just said that it's fucking 4:50 p.m. in Hawaii, and UK SIF 420 said it's 4 a.m. here now. So hell yeah, man, around the
Yeah,
world
man.
with this cannabis community.
Cheers to the late shift.
So we
There you
actually
go.
smoke, or we're on not quite at. So 4 a.m. would be 11 here, probably. So we're not on at 4:20 there, but that'd be pretty cool.
So
Yeah,
before
it'd be
we
nice to finish 420 with everyone.
before we end, we got a little giveaway to announce, don't we? For the grow off.
Definitely. Hit it.
Yeah.
All
Do it,
right.
Chief.
Can I get a drum roll or something
I
before
was
we
just gonna
announce?
say we got to have some kind of soundboard or something, man. And we're not
Bro,
prepared.
man.
Oh, we need to do it just like Carlos, where we're just
You
in the
put
middle
it-
of a sentence and just tell them who won.
Oh, I know he like ninja dropped that on me, man.
Well, so this giveaway was for our grow off contestants, the people that had entered grow off and did the grow off challenge with us, growing the pineapple tie. And
Missy, tell them what they've won.
First of
yeah.
all, we have to decide on a hashtag, so I have to only follow one because I am lazy as fuck and I don't like going.
There is
to
only
100
one.
hashtags.
There is only one. There can
All right,
be only one.
All right, let's put it in chat so they know, and then there's no.
There's
I was gonna say it did get posted up again today, but we can post the
Mhm.
hashtag again.
But yeah, this week was dealer's choice, and we posted the prize on the Michigan Bro Girls Instagram, and that is going to be coming with a separate package from D's Bags. Also, shout out to them. So this week, the winner is. You want to announce? I'm
Oh,
looking
me?
at you.
Oh.
Come on, that was your cue.
Tommy Tricos.
All right, Tommy T.
I was going to call you out for not following him, but you're not in a logged in page. So congrats to Tommy. Really good attitude in the grow and obviously great looking plants. Thank you for participating and everyone else. We're going to be doing these giveaways every 2 weeks, so and have different criteria for all of them. So everyone will probably do very well.
Just tag your pictures with, what is it? I don't remember already.
Hashtag 2020 Great Lakes Grow Off.
Okay, there you
I
go.
put it in the chat. Yeah, thank you very much, dude, for reminding me.
No problem.
Congrats, Tommy Trichomes. I messed that up. Damn it.
Nice, clean grows it look like, man. Super impressive.
We will say that we had other votes as well, so it's not like that. He was a far and away clear runaway.
Oh,
Everybody
no,
else's shit looked really tight too. So I just want to give everybody a shout out who's been posting all of their stuff to the Instagram, tagging shit, and the chat has been fucking great in there. So appreciate it, man. You guys are making this great.
And Tommy, don't die of excitement. We'll be getting with you right after this with the details.
The details. Dun dun dun. And with that, guys, we're gonna do some sign-offs and then get the hell out of here. It's 10:55. Red Setter, you're first. Where can everyone find you, dude?
You guys, everybody out there can find me on Instagram at Red Setter Farm. You can find me here on the Bro Show on the late sesh. Check out one of the Eagle Gardens sessions. You can find me there shooting the shit with Eagle, which is pretty fucking cool. Just throwing some more, I guess, profanity in there for Eagle. Anyways, guys, I gotta give my homies a new standard. My best man opened his dispensary this week, which is an awesome achievement, and congratulations to those guys. Hope the best for, ever, man. It's really cool. So anyway, cheers everybody, chat. Cheers everybody tuning in, and panel. Love all you guys. Take care.
Thanks,
Have a great
Red.
week.
Spartan Grown. Where can everyone find you, sir?
Everybody can find me on Instagram at Spartan Grown, or at work which would be at Mitten Canico, or right here on YouTube. And all these multiples of things and places, but always here at Michigan Bros Grow Show. If you can't find me here, you find me everywhere else. Love you guys.
Amen, brother. Thank you for joining us all the time. We really appreciate you. You always got a lot to share. Eagle Gardens. Where can everyone find you, bro? Everywhere.
First and foremost, look for me here every Sunday nights, of course. And then if you need another fill and see what I'm doing weeknights at 11:30. Instagram, Eagle Gardens 1, YouTube, Eagle Gardens. I appreciate you guys every week for having me come on. I appreciate the panel, the knowledge you bring every week. I enjoy talking to you. In fact, today it was a big stress off of my day. It was nice to relax and talk with you guys, get some of your knowledge.
Look at where you get to hang out. Holy shit.
Get to fucking hang out with all these cool people in chat. This is a great part of the week. I appreciate you guys letting me be part of this and helping me get my shit started. So thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, man.
And I wanted to say I appreciate you, Eagle, for letting me come on your show tonight. So I forgot to mention that's another place you can see me at Eagle Gardens tonight, 11:30. I don't know how long I can last, but I'm going to do my best.
Yeah, man. You're like a smoking juggernaut too. I really appreciate that about you. When we hang out, we can just smoke a lot. Eagle can too. Actually, everyone here can smoke pretty good. All right, Abolish the Miss C. You guys are up. Yeah, none of these guys have tapped yet.
Abolish Farms. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, all those good places. Shout out to the Frugal Force, all the Groskies out there. Panel, love you guys. Also got to shout out my sponsors, Easy Swap Pots, Mantis Genetics, and Bad Bunny Nutrients. And look for us on Twitch, throughout the next couple of days if you guys are into Mad Max savagery, getting stoned. It's good times.
Landwalking pirate ships, you mean?
Yeah.
You guys can catch me on Instagram at Miss.Cantaloupe. I'll be hanging out on there a lot, checking in, taking breaks. I'm one of the lucky few who's also now a homeschool teacher. So send me memes, keep me sane.
Especially if they're Tiger King.
Yeah, it's starting to lose it for me.
It's about that
It's
time.
reached the
Yeah,
saturation point.
Yeah, I think I'm done now.
Well, thank you, Miss Cena Bausch, for joining us. I'm gonna leave Kate off because she's not feeling very well. But thank you for Kate to joining us. You can see her at the Cane of Kate on Instagram. Skilbo, what do you want to say, man?
I want to say thanks for hanging out again on another Sunday night, everybody. It's always a chill time, good conversation. I never know where it's going to go, but one thing you can be sure of is that you can find me here every Sunday night. I'm Skilbo17 on YouTube and Skilbo1 on Instagram. Stay safe out there.
Yeah, and I just want to say thank you for all the support, the positive vibes, the happy faces, and all the support in the chat. It's really cool to have you guys here with us. We appreciate it a lot. Thank you very much. Have a good night.